Good afternoon. We're here on a mission from UNDP's Istanbul Regional Hub to discuss what support UNDP can provide both to the Center for Analysis of Economic Reforms and to the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection in finalising its national employment strategy. In particular, we're looking at how this work can be aligned with Azerbaijan's nationalization of the Global Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, which is already underway and is being managed by the newly set up National Council for Sustainable Development. We're already, again, well underway in the sense that both the roadmap for implementation of economic reforms and the national employment strategy are aligned in their time framework with the SDG time framework. So they are strategies that go up to 2030, the year when we will be reporting on the final achievements under Sustainable Development Goals. Now our task today was really to look particularly at the employment implications, and therefore we were mostly concentrating on how Azerbaijan in the future can nationalize SDG 8, the 8th SDG Sustainable Development Goal, which is on sustained, inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment and decent jobs for all. And this SDG, I think, is a very good entry point for many of the most urgent reforms facing Azerbaijan at the moment. If we dissect it, it's a complex goal, and indeed the employment and economic growth task is very complex. But if we dissect it, it talks about sustained economic growth, which is really what Azerbaijan is now concentrating on with its roadmap for economic reforms, with its drive towards diversification and getting away from dependency on or over-dependency on oil exports for economic growth. It's about inclusive economic growth, which implies employment for all, not only employment but better quality employment. Growth that gives jobs for Azerbaijan's population. It is about sustainable growth, which means that whatever we do now, we have to take into consideration integrated approaches which will ensure growth that is also environmentally sustainable. That implies sustainable management of natural resources and more energy efficient growth. It's about full and productive work. This means we're really tackling the low productivity jobs that we see in Azerbaijan in the regions, particularly in agriculture. And it's about decent jobs for all, which implies concentrating on formalization of jobs. So giving people jobs that are of better quality and give access to formal social security rights and work safety rules. So as a whole, this is a very relevant goal with its targets for Azerbaijan. But I think you will probably know that the SDGs should not be looked at singly in silos. Each SDG is a goal on its own right, but also will influence the achievement of other goals. And in reverse, it's a holistic agenda. Other goals will influence the successful achievement of SDG 8 on employment. If we make progress on the targets under SDG 8 on employment, we will make progress on SDG 1 on poverty, SDG 10 on inequalities. We will contribute, if we do it properly, sustainable growth. We will contribute to SDG 12 on working towards more sustainable patterns of consumption and production. On the other hand, SDG 4 on education will be vital for ensuring that we have the human development, the human resources that can contribute to diversification and diversification of the economy and the creation of development of new high-tech and other sectors. So we're very pleased to be supporting this process that we see is really gathering pace in Azerbaijan. We will be working we as a regional office are working with other countries on discussing how the goals and targets can be nationalized, and we're really looking forward to working further with our partners here in Azerbaijan on this task and really supporting progress in the reforms, in implementing reforms in employment, labour market, but also other sectors which will contribute to Azerbaijan making great achievements, comprehensive achievements overall in working towards SDGs and their fulfillment in 2030.